A very good morning, my dear students. Today we will discuss about the lesson transport. India transport. In this importance and different modes of transport, that is roadways, railways, airways and waterways, and advantages and disadvantages. Before moving into the main concept, what is the importance of this transport? We have to check. Transportation helps us in the better utilization of resources of the backward areas by linking them with the more advanced areas. For example, the resources which are available very backward areas like interior areas, some villages, corners of villages, whatever the resources are available, either agricultural resources or mineral resources, these and all can be brought to the industrial place and they can use for the finished goods. In this way, they helps in the better utilization of resources of the backward areas by linking them with the more advanced areas. Not only that, it aids in the process of industrialization and urbanization. It helps in the process of industrialization and urbanization. It removes scarcity of goods during any crisis. It helps in minimizing the effects of natural disasters. So how does it help in minimizing the effect of natural disasters? Means if any natural disaster is occurring, so with the help of this transport, any type of mode of transport, people can reach there on time and they can at least they can minimize the effect of the natural disaster. Either it can be roadways or it can be through airways. In any way, the intensity of the natural disaster, if they cannot stop also, sometimes like for example fire accidents, if it happen, if with the help of this transport they can reach on time to that particular place and they can reduce the intensity of the effect of fire increasing, right? So this is one of the example. If something happened after that also, by providing them some rescue things and all, they can reduce the severity of the disasters. So in this way, transport will help to minimize the intense effects of the natural disasters. It brings in homogeneity and national integrity in thought and culture through easy movement of people and bringing them in contact with one another. It also helps in the homogeneity and national integrity in thought and culture, in the thoughts and cultures through easy movement of people and bringing them to contact with one another. For example, now North Indian people, South Indian people are following the North Indian distance, North Indian culture. They are like, it is like multicultural. It has become as multicultural India because of this movement of place from one place to another place. So in this way, we can say that transport has a great significance. So what is the importance of transport? So far we have discussed. Next we will move on to the different modes of transport in India. Firstly, we will discuss about the roadways. India had paved roads from ancient times, as is evident from the ruins of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. The earlier emperors connected their capitals with their parts of their territories. For example, the Mughal rulers were noted for building roads, and Sher Shah Suri built the famous Grand Trunk Road to strengthen and consolidate his empire. Of course, Sher Shah does not belong to Mughal dynasty, but there was a break in the Mughal dynasty. Sher Shah, who ruled in between after Humayun, he was the first. The credit goes to Sher Shah Suri, who had constructed in India the first Grand Trunk Road to expand his empire, consolidate his empire. This road connected Kolkata and Peshawar. However, road transport in its modern sense was quite limited in India before the Second World War. Then, after India attained independence, a 30-year road plan to improve the conditions of roads was initiated in 1961. Now, The roadways in India have been categorized in three ways. Mainly the major roadways are national highways, expressways, the major road categories. Of course, besides this, there are district roads are there and other roads are there, that like border roads organization like that. But major roadways are national highways, then expressways as well as state highways. The three pictures which you can see on the which is provided in front of you on the screen, that is first one, national highways. What is this national highways? The main roads which are constructed and maintained by the central government are known as national highways. These are main highways running through the length and breadth of the country, connecting every major city and are the backbone of road infrastructure. National highways in India are designated as NH, followed by the state highway numbers. The longest national highway is NH7. Its length is about 7,770 kilometers. Now, what is national highway? It is constructed. These roads are constructed and maintained by the central government. And this, based on this, to look after this construction, development and maintenance, all these things, there is an authority established, that is the National Highways Authority of India was constituted in 1988. It is the responsible for the development, maintenance and management of all the national highways. Whose authority, whose responsible is to look after, to maintain, to develop and to construct the national highways means National Highways Authority of India. In short, we call it as NHAI. This NHAI took two projects were undertaken by this NHAI. Two projects were Golden Quadrilateral and North South and East West corridors. Once again, two projects which were undertaken by the NHAI are very important projects, Golden Quadrilateral and North South and East West corridors. What is this Golden Quadrilateral? The Golden Quadrilateral is the largest express highway project in India. It connects India's four largest metropolis, that is Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai. And thus it forms a quadrilateral of sorts. So Bengaluru, Pune, Ahmedabad and Surat are also served by this network. So what are the main economic benefits of this Golden Quadrilateral? This highway interconnects many major cities and ports. It provides an impetus to truck transport throughout India. It enables the industrial growth of all small towns through which it passes, and it provides vast opportunities for transport of agriculture and agricultural produce from the hinterland to the major cities and also ports for export. These are the economic benefits of Golden Quadrilateral, which has been undertaken by NHAI. And next we will move on to the expressways. What is this expressways? Expressways constitute the most significant features of land transportation. Expressways are highways planned for high-speed traffic, having few intersections and limited points of access or exit, and a divider between lanes for traffic moving in opposite directions. They usually have 6 or 8 lanes. So thus we can say these expressways provide high speed, greater safety, comfort and convenience for both the drivers and passengers, and lower vehicle operating costs also. What are the major expressways? Just you can know that what are the major expressways we have in India. That is Agra-Lucknow Expressway, Yamuna Expressway, next Ahmedabad-Vadodara Expressway, Delhi-Gurgaon Expressway, Mumbai-Pune Expressway, Noida-Greater Noida Expressway, Delhi-Noida Direct Flyway, Panipat Expressway and Bengaluru-Mysore Infrastructure Corridor. These are the major expressways which are situated in our India. Besides that, there are some other expressways also. Just you know the names of some of the names of expressways which are located in India. Next we will see that third picture, that is state highways. Simple definition, the state highways are constructed and maintained by the state government. These highways provide linkage with the national highways, district headquarters, important towns, tourist centers and major ports within the state. Next, district roads. Districts, these are important roads within a district connecting areas of production with markets. Next, rural roads. These rural roads in India form a substantial portion of the road network. These roads constitute about 80% of the total road length in the country. Next, other roads, if you see, the border roads. These border roads organization was set up in 1960 for strengthening defense preparedness and accelerating economic development through improvement of roads along the northern and northeastern boundary of the country. Very importantly, this border roads organization has been set up in 1960 with the intention of defense preparedness and accelerating economic development through improvement of roads along the northern and northeastern boundaries of the country. This organization has constructed in the world's highest road from Manali in Himachal Pradesh to Leh in Ladakh at an average altitude of 4,270 meters. Of course, there will be variation in the height of these roadways because of the land, that is mountainous area. So that, but anyhow, it has been in the world's highest. It has been constructed in the world itself at highest altitude. This border road organization, which is constructed from world's highest road from Manali in Himachal Pradesh to Leh in Ladakh. Then what are the functions of this border road organization? The BRO undertakes snow clearance in high altitude areas and construction of airfields as well as buildings and permanent bridges. Besides that, this also undertakes the snow clearance in high altitude areas and construction of airfields, buildings and permanent bridges at high altitudes. This is the function of border road organization. These are the different types of roadways which are in India. Now we will move on to the advantages and disadvantages of roadways. Let us see the advantages and disadvantages of roadways. There are many advantages are there. It is through the roads that every village and hamlet can be reached. Secondly, construction cost of roads is much lower than that of railway line. We know that. Next, thirdly, roads can be constructed even in the areas of difficult terrain and where railway lines do not exist. Next advantage, roads offer door-to-door service and thereby reduce the cost of loading and unloading. Next, we will move on to next advantage. The movement of goods is safer through road transport as the chances of pilferage are lesser than in the railways. Next, road transport supplements the other modes of transportation. This is a very important advantage of roadways. Of course, if we see the other modes of transport like railways, airways or waterways, they cannot reach to every village or corner of any country, any part of the country, unlike these roadways. But roadways can reach any corner, any village of the country, any hamlet of the country, and they can get the raw material which is available, sources, either resources or raw material it can get, and it can reach to the other modes of transport, so that from there again they can transport to the industrial areas or some other places. So it is a very important advantage use, that is road transport supplements the other modes of transport. It provides a link between railway stations and ports and their hinterlands also. Next one, disadvantages of these roadways. We will see road transport has some following disadvantages also. Many roads are unsurfaced and therefore not suitable for regular vehicular traffic. Next, roads are not properly maintained. The poor road surfaces cause heavy loss in wear and tear of vehicles. damage to the vehicles. Next, there are multiple checkposts, toll tax and outright duties collection points on the roads which bring down the speed of the traffic, waste time and cause irritation to the commuters. Next one, many roads have inadequate capacity, weak pavement, unbridged level crossings and lack of wayside amenities and safety measures. This is also drawback of roadways, disadvantage. Next, the traffic on Indian roads, especially in cities, is too high. Further, same road is used for all types of vehicles like high-speed cars, trucks, two-wheelers, animal-driven carts, cyclists and even by animals. So because of that, there is a high traffic. This increases traffic time and causes congestion, pollution and as well as road accidents. These are the disadvantages of roadways. Next, we will discuss about another mode of transportation, that is railways. The railways constitute the principal mode of transportation for freight and passengers. It brings together people from farthest corners of the country for conducting business, sightseeing, pilgrimage, education, etc. Railways were first introduced in India in 1853 by Lord Dalhousie during the British government when a line was constructed from Mumbai to Thane, covering a distance of 34 kilometers with the intention of to export and import. Export the raw materials and import the finished goods from Britain to India. This was constructed with the intention of this purpose. Later, at present in India is one of the largest and busiest rail networks in the world, transporting over 18 million passengers and more than 2 million tons of freight daily, every day. So today, railways carry a huge variety of goods ranging from mineral ores, fertilizers, petrochemicals, agricultural produce, iron and steel. Ports and major urban areas have their own freight lines. Thus, railways help in accelerating the development of industry and agriculture. The growth of Indian Railways in the past 150 years has been phenomenal. Its huge size has put pressure on the centralized management system also. Now, based on the width of the rail track, the Indian Railways are divided into three categories, three major divisions, that is broad gauge, meter gauge and narrow gauge. Once again, these Indian Railways have been divided as three divisions, that is based on their width of the tracks. So, the width of the track, which is exactly 1 meter, those are called as meter gauge. The width of the track which is lesser than 1 meter, narrow gauge, and the width of the track which is more than 1 meter is broad gauge. Here the first picture which is provided in the first pic, that is, it shows that broad gauge, the distance between rails is, the distance in a broad gauge, the distance between the rails is 1.676 meters. That means more than 1 meter. The total route length of broad gauge accounts for about 85% of the total length of rail route of the country. In India, most of 85% of rail tracks are connected with this broad gauge only. Okay, that is 85%, around 85% of tracks are broad gauge. Almost all the main routes are broad gauge. Broad gauge system links major ports of India with interior towns and industrial centers and handles 85% of the total goods traffic in terms of tons kilometers. It is also called as India gauge. Broad gauge, another name of broad gauge is India gauge. Once again, I will tell that it is, it's when you are writing this very important concept, differentiate between broad gauge, meter gauge and narrow gauge. In this type, you can prepare the notes. So, what is the width of the rails of broad gauge? That is 1.676 meters, and it accounts 85% of rail route in the country. 85% of rail routes are connected with broad gauge. And next you can write that important cities and towns, industrial centers and towns handles 85% of the total goods traffic. Next, broad gauge railway line on the west coastal lowland known as Konkan Railway Line is an engineering marvel of the Indian Railways. It is 760 kilometers long rail route connecting Roha in Maharashtra and to Mangalore in Karnataka. Next, we will move on to the another second division of this railway line, that is meter gauge. The distance between the rails is 1 meter, exactly 1 meter. It accounts for about 11% of the total route length. Next, third one, narrow gauge. The distance between the rails is 0.762 meters or sometimes and 0.610 meters also. It accounts for about 4% of the total route length. It is mainly confined to the hilly areas. It is mainly confined to the hilly areas. You can write as two or more than two differences between this broad gauge, meter gauge as well as narrow gauge. Next, we will move on to the advantages and disadvantages of railways. Advantages of railways. Railways constitute one of the most efficient and cost-effective forms of transportation. Railways help in the easy movement of bulky goods and perishable commodities to distant places. Especially they help in transporting the perishable goods on time. Next, railways transport raw materials to the production units and finished goods to the markets. Railways have brought the villages closer to cities and have helped in the transfer new ideas and innovations to the rural areas. Railways help in reducing sufferings during natural calamities. Railways, they act as an integrating force, knitting the whole country into one whole with its huge network running throughout the country. Railways facilitate easy movement of police, troops and defense equipment. Railways provide comfortable journey as the trains have enough space to stretch legs and move in the corridors. At night, one can sleep comfortably on the berths provided in the trains. Next, this rail travel is safer and comfortable for families with babies and elders. These are the advantages of railways. Let us see the disadvantages of railways. Rail transport lacks flexibility of routes. Train tracks cannot be laid in every region of the country like in the hilly areas or remote forested areas. Drawbacks. Okay, train travel can be very long and tedious, especially when compared to air travel. Train tracks cannot be laid in every industrial region and trains have to travel to a station where cargo is loaded from one form of transportation to another. Most industrial locations have roads leading to them, but not all of them have train tracks leading to them. This is another drawback. Next, the trains which run on coal produce especially the trains which run on coal produce a lot of air and noise pollution. Trains cannot cross the oceans. They are limited to land travel and cannot normally haul products from one continent to another. These are all the disadvantages of railways.